Hello and welcome to the Elite Chat brought to you by Chopin TV. My name is Nasif Shalagberu. Thanks a lot for joining us on the program today. As you all know, the Elite Chat is a show where we feature informed guests to talk about various issues. Joining me on the program today is the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP in Kwara State. I have here with me Alh Abdullahi Shuaib Yaman. Thanks a lot for joining us on the program, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, sir, let's get started. You are part of the Otoge movement that brought in the incumbent governor of Kwara State. Why are you contesting against him this time?
Well, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You see, it's not only about me. I think the question you should ask, why is everybody contesting against him? Knowing fully well that all the 5 political parties that are currently trending in Kwara State, the gubernatorial candidates were all part of Otoge. So why is everybody contesting against him? It only tells you a simple story, that people were misled to following someone who does not have the capacity and the competence to take us to the realization of the promises we all made to Kwarans in 2019. It was not about just having power. The Otoge movement was not about having power. It was about development of Kwara State. It was about how to improve the lots of Kwarans and to assure a future for generations yet unborn. Unfortunately, we had a captain that was forced on us. We have, our own ideas on what we think should be done for Kwara to prosper. And but no matter what ideas you have, ideas are what they are. They will remain so as only ideas, except you are able to have people that have the competencies, the requisite competencies to make them realizable. Unfortunately, in the Otoge movement, even though the ideas were there, the man that was foisted on us as the captain lacks the capacity, lacks the knowledge, lacks the competence, and lacks everything that will lead us to realization. And I think some of us are fired by the zeal and patriotism to ensure that Kwara does not remain static. In fact, in this case, it's like we're even moving backwards. So, we've got to look for other platforms. And the most realistic platform for me remains the PDP, because that is the only party. You see, the taste of the pudding is actually in the eating. You do not know the capacity of a group until you've tested another one. PDP, for whatever people think their shortcomings, they're still by far better, because you can count on your finger, you can count lots and lots of things they've done to move Kwara forward. And I can see it. Look, just let me give you one example. It was the PDP that brought the idea of having a cargo, what do you call it? The cargo building they have at the airport. It's a fantastic idea. And we, for example, part of our development strategies is rotating on that cargo port, because, and I've said it in several fora, that Ilorin Airport is one of the 4 or 5 airports with the longest runway. What that translates into is you can bring you huge, big aircraft like 747. There's nothing wrong, and I've said it several times too, that look, in Kenya, the flower business is a huge business. It's a multi-million-dollar export business. From Kenya, every morning you have big cargo planes taking fresh flower from Nairobi airport to Amsterdam. We have some weather here that can do that around Ilorin, and we have a cargo, and we have the youths that are going around with certificates all over the place, have nothing doing. Why are we not converting such possibilities using our cargo port? But you can see the difference. This is something that creates thousands and thousands of jobs. You know what they've done? They've gone to convert the cargo airport to what they call what they call garment factory.
Yeah.
Now, just sit for a moment and think. You want to do garment factory? Okay, where are the raw materials coming from? That's the question you should first ask. Where are they getting the raw materials from? Now, look at that with what we want to do. We're going to have a cotton revolution that's going to be based around Barotin Kama, because they form part of the cotton axis of the West Africa. And we're already talking to banks. God willing, inshallah, by 2023, when Allah makes it possible for us to be there, we're already talking to Bank of Industry, and they are willing to give us gineries. We are going to gin our cotton, we're going to grow our cotton, we're going to gin our cotton, we're going to put up textile factories here.
Okay, Your Excellency, we are still coming to the plan for, we are still going to discuss about your plan for the people of Kwara State.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this this way. You recently joined the People's Democratic Party. Were you surprised you won the primaries?
Well, surprise, yes, because of the numbers, really. But I have always known that, by the way, I'm a foundation member of the People's Democratic Party. In 1998, I was one of the very few that actually brought the People's Democratic Party to Kwara State. We had cause to leave, and of course we've now have cause to come back. And so I was not very, very surprised, because I've interacted with a lot of people who are members of the People's Democratic Party. I've known a lot of them had known me, and so it was like going back home. And when you go back home, you expect members of your family to welcome you back. So I think that's what surprised most other people, but didn't much surprise me, because it's like I was going back to family. And don't forget, the political the political community in Kwara, like even Nigeria, it's the same group. It's the same group that was in PDP. It was the same group that will go to, that did Otoge, the same group that will move to. It's the same group, so we're all the same. So everyone has known everyone. So for me, when I went back to PDP, it was like meeting my old friends. So I expected them, those of them who have associated with me, those of them who have seen in me some capacity, I expected they would vote for me, and indeed they didn't disappoint.
Okay. So let's talk about your plan for the people of Kwara State. What are the issues or gap in the governance system in Kwara State that you hope to address if you become the governor of the state?
Yeah, you see, it's all about strategy. If you look at our billboards, we've all written all over it, a prosperous Kwara is possible. Because for us, governance, apart from security of lives and properties, should also entail providing for the people. People should live a good life. Yeah, security takes precedence over all this, because without security, nothing meaningful can be achieved. But the essence, the human life itself, the most valued thing in human life is happiness. That is it. Even if you are rich and you are not happy, you haven't reached the pinnacle. Even if you have everything in this world, even if you are healthy and you are not happy, you are still there at the base. You haven't climbed to the apex. So for us, the first point of call is, what is the situation with the average Kwaran? And I've said it in several places. Who knows what is even the GDP of Kwara? Most people don't even know. And then you even ask, because that should be the starting point, what is the per capita income of Kwarans? And it's only when you know how much the average Kwaran is earning, and then you juxtapose it with what he's supposed to get to live good life. That should be the starting point. And so when you know this, then you bring in a strategy. How do I get the average Kwaran to have shelter, is dressed fairly nicely, and is able to eat good food. These are the three basic, things. Now, a lot of people, and I've said this in several fora too, that the problem we have is people clap for people that ordinarily should not even be on the seat. Because if you see a governor, they say, he has done road, he has done this, he's done classrooms, he's painting classrooms. That's what every fool can do. And I mean it. Every fool. I say this often, give a madman money on the street. He will take the money, he will not throw it away. He will go and buy bolly or go and buy granite with it. So spending is the easiest thing any human being can do. And that's what, people bask on. They say, you collect money from federation account or from revenue generation, entire generation, and then you say, okay, I'm spending it on road, I'm spending on this. Anybody can do that. That is not the challenge. The challenge is not in spending. The challenge is in creating wealth. And this is, as I've always said, this is what should mark out the boys from the men. What is your capacity for creating wealth? Take Kwara State, for example. Apart from relying on federation account, when they came in, the previous administration was doing 31 billion naira per annum. Immediately they came in. Because, you see, these things, ability is very important. The leader must know how to do it. Because before the led should follow suit. If they dropped to 16 billion, we must ask why. I heard that now they have struggled and by taxing poor people. I mean, somebody riding Kakena Pep, why are you taxing him? This is somebody that's barely able to make ends meet. These are people that ordinary government should actually be subsidizing. But you will go and increase Kakena Pep, Okada riders. For me, this is not the way to earn revenue. There must be more ingenious ways of doing these things. And so for us, our strategy is, we know what the per capita income is. And from there, we will say, okay, from this point, this is where we want to go into. We are going to go on a trajectory and a roadmap. That this is how much we are earning now. This is how much we want to take it to. And we are going to use what we have in Kwara to get what we want. Agriculture remains the lowest hanging fruit for Kwara. We have the land. If you go to Baroten Kama, you see there's huge land there. We have young men. Mechanization is possible. We are not going to ask our young men to start taking hoe and cutlass. No, none of them will come down from instructor. They are going to, everything is going to be mechanized. And so we are having selected crops. For example, there will be some cash crops, some food crops. And for us, the immediate thing to do is to look at the advantages we have in the international order. We import everything. Why you see inflation that is so high in Nigeria is because everything is imported. Everything everyone is wearing here is imported. And it's because we are not productive enough in Nigeria. When you are productive, it's very easy. When you are productive, you don't need to spend your naira looking for dollar. And if you don't look for dollar, the dollar will remain there. It's basic economics, supply and demand. So for us here, we are going to go on an agricultural revolution because that is going to create wealth for our youths. That would create enough wealth for our women. And because these are the most endangered species, if you permit me, these are the people that are not very favored in this economy today. And this is why instead of growing better boys, we are growing good boys. Everywhere you go, people are knocking on your door, breaking in your glasses, because the youths are being frustrated. We can't afford it. Kwara cannot afford it. We cannot continue to have, an army of youths that are jobless.
Okay, Your Excellency, we've been seeing your campaign train moving from one place to another. What feelings are you getting from the people of Kwara State?
Excitement. People are saying, look, this is good change. You see, a lot of it is a disappointment from the government today. People expected so much when we did Otoge, a lot of expectations. But because the captain is incapable, the danger of, you know, being in an aircraft where the pilot doesn't know how to navigate his way through. You can imagine how the passengers will be feeling. So it's the same feeling today in Kwara. People feel we expected much more, and it appears we are actually being reversed. Things that they thought were going to be better are not. Like, and I give you examples. We promised several people when we were doing Otoge, like take Kayama by routine routes. We promised everybody that the first 100 days we are going to do this. Nothing has happened up to today. We promised young men that immediately we get there we are going to create jobs. Nothing has been done. We promised pensioners when we get there, their money will be paid. We promised civil servants that when we get there, we are going to improve on their takings. A leadership is supposed to be trusted. And when people have found that most of the things we said were not true, and we are not able to do them, people in excitement are welcoming us with open arms that, well, this is another person coming, and we think we should trust him.
Okay, sir. So let's take a look at what happened in 2019. I'm talking about the Otoge movement. You know, we can recall how Otoge defeated your party PDP across the 16 local government of the state. So now, how prepared is your party ahead of this forthcoming election?
The movement was led by us, in the belief that we are going to better the loss of Kwarans. And the people that went to Otoge went because they trusted us. We've gone back to them to say, we are sorry. We really thought we had a captain that was capable of steering the ship off the course of danger. But the dangers are still very high. But we are here. We have not left our original plans. We are going to steer the ship, this ship of Kwara, off the danger zone. And I think the people trust us. That's it. Let me give you an example. There's a particular place in our own area, in Patigi. We went there. It's called Lade. And when I was sitting in the car, somebody told me, hey, Lade people came out in full with banners welcoming us to the town. And the man told me, say, is it not the same Lade that we were stoned in 2019? What has changed? I said, it is trust. They trust us. The Lade people followed us to Otoge. It is the trust to the individual which we amalgamated and gave the wrong captain. And the people, they can decipher, they can see it, that this one we trusted. He merely made a mistake by leading us to the wrong person. And now they are back in excitement. Everywhere we went, it was excitement. It was like, look, the day has now broken. We are off from the close of the night. And this is exactly what is happening everywhere we've been to. And you will see the difference in the votes, inshallah.
Okay, so we have just a few minutes to round off on the show.
Just before we go, just before the few minutes, let me tell you, our own agricultural revolution is, in the Kwara North, we're going to do the cotton and livestock revolution. For the cotton, like I told you, we are going to build granaries and we are going to put textiles. And it is after you've had this that you can now go and do what they say they are doing in the airport. Garment factory. Yes. How do you do your garment? By importing things again? Where are you going to get the money from? Where is the garment coming from? When you can grow everything, you can do it. It's a value chain, and Kwaras are going to benefit. And let me tell you, the former government, the PDP government, they built an aviation school. Why are we not taking advantage of that? Akwa Ibom, they don't have an aviation school. They have Ibom Airline, which is the best today in Nigeria. Why are we not following up with an airline? So that the boys that are in this aviation school, they will automatically have jobs in the Kwara Airline, for example. It doesn't have to be run necessarily by government. No, that's a mistake a lot of people are making. It's not government money as such. But government must be the one to secure, the dangers for this. So These are things that should be done in the center. We cannot afford to let Ilorin be like this. Ilorin must be where the international market should be. I'm from Edu. And you don't just put an international market. I'm from there. You don't put an international market where a place that doesn't have good road. Bubu, I mean, with due respect to my people there, the road to Bubu sounds like Bubu itself. Just here, Bubu up to the place. You cannot repair the road for the people. You say you're putting international market. On the contrary, Ilorin has roads. Look, it's on the express, and Ilorin is the gateway between the north and the south. Ilorin has road, it has access to rail, it has access to air, and by our plans, we are going to have a river port in Jebba. So it also has access to water. These are the things you need to put an international market. The essence will be the price at Ilorin for commodities will either be less or the same with Lagos. So about 13, 16 states from the north, we don't need to go to Lagos. Ilorin will be the center because the prices will be the same. That's the strategy. And in the south, we're going to have a cassava revolution. We want to be the starch center for West Africa. And starch is a huge multi-million dollar market in the world. Where are we not doing it? The whole of the south can grow cassava. Our young men will do it, but they are going to do it through mechanization.
Okay, Your Excellency, so let's talk about your party at the national level. The 2023 election is just some months away now. So what, in your view, are the prospects of Atiku or Kwara?
See, let me tell you. I was just talking to my wife before he came. And I was telling her why we are all articulated already. Atiku will win this election, inshallah. And the arithmetic is there. You can look at it. Apart from the truth that, for me, you need an agile man, a man who understands it, a man who has been there before for this country. And I think majority of Nigerians are looking at that. Atiku has been vice president, not governor. A governor just has a small space. I know I'm talking of a governor from the smallest state in Nigeria. And then you want to use that experience to govern a whole country like Nigeria. We need someone who has been on the saddle before. You know, he knows what it feels to rule Nigeria. Someone who is exposed, someone who is agile, somebody who is seeing the world. And so for us, Nigerians understand that. And APC, because that's the only party I think is competing. The Labour Party is not existent in this part of the country. And in the north, I stay in Kaduna, and I know the Labour Party is non-existent. But the APC, how are they going to go? I mean, what would they tell Nigerians? That do you know inflation today in Nigeria? Do you know that Nigeria is indebted to about 64 trillion? And the same thing with APC Kwara. I think it's something infectious in them. They all have it, the bug. See, the APC, the Kwara government, and I tell you, again, it's about capacity. They don't know how to create wealth. And so they take the lazy man's way out of it. The federation account money, they refuse to do local government elections. And so we are going to ask them, where is the money meant for councillors, for chairmen, and for the administration of local government? Where is the money? The KWRS something. Nobody knows what the money is being used to. And the worst, since the creation of Kwara State 55 years ago, the total debt stock that Kwara State, the current Kwara State government made of 59 billion. And in 3 years, in just 3 years, they've taken it to 114 billion. Now, what are we going to do in a small slip like this? Because they couldn't create anything. They just took this, and that's what I'm telling you. There's always difference between men and boys. Everybody can come and just want to spend. Spending is the easiest thing, but you must create the way. They have no such policy. And this is why we are concerned, because our young men, how will they pay that money? It's like enslaving them. It's like making them houseboys tomorrow in their mates' houses or guards. Because there will be no money to pay for education. Their children will not be educated. There is going to be nothing. And so, you see, the APC government is just look for money and spend. They are just spending. It's just about spending. Nothing about creation of wealth. And that is what we endanger this country. So if you are talking about comparing Atiku to any other one, Atiku I think Atiku, because they manage this economy. PDP managed the economy in the past. Look at food prices now. Look at even fuel. And you see, again, they pander more to political solutions than to reality. How can you say you are going to you are spending so much on a fuel subsidy when in truth the figures you are banding around are not even very true? PDP government under Atiku, that I'm sure, will do by far better than what APC has to do. I'm not talking about security, because in the north everybody has run away from APC because it has never been this bad. If Boko Haram wasn't this bad, in Kaduna people knock on your door and say, come out, you are kidnapped. So you say you don't go to the bush, you come inside your house, you lock your door, somebody say open the door, you are now kidnapped. So the insecurity, and even in Kwara, the insecurity is here too, because we have an absentee governor who is never there. So is the APC either in the state or in the federal something? They have nothing to show Nigerians.
Okay, Your Excellency, looking at the ongoing crisis in your party, do you think your party will go into the 2023 election on a united front?
I say we are already articulated. What that mean? You know, an articulated vehicle. We are joined together. Look, forget about all the shenanigans going on. We are a united party, and what you see, there are normal things in democracy. You know, and the good thing about democracy is that the minority can always have its say, but the majority must have its way. We are the majority, but don't even bother. All these people, they are all internal wranglings. They are all coming together. They are all coming back, and I can sure write it down. They are all coming back to vote for Atiku because we are in PDP and we have one presidential candidate. Nobody has denied that. Nobody has put up any other person, not even vice presidential candidate. All the wranglings about chairman, this, they're all internal wranglings of our own party. And I just sometimes wonder, what's the interest of others? When two babies are fighting in the house, why should somebody come from another house and say, why are they? And it's not your business. It's our business. We are going to manage it. Atiku is going to win this election, inshallah.
Okay, lastly, before we go now, the 2023 election is fast approaching. What's your word of advice to the people of Kwara?
People of Kwara, they should elect whoever they think has the best program for them. It is not about sentiments. Election is about how you want to fare. For us, in the PDP, we try to prepare prosperity for the people of Kwara State. Apart from security, we ensure that there is going to be security, inshallah. We ensure that after security, there is going to be prosperity. We are planning, and I've said this in several fora, I said it to you guys before, that there is going to be a third world war. And the third world war, again, I want to repeat that, is not going to be fought with military arsenal. No, it's going to be fought with intellectual capacity. And the intellectual capacity, the people to fight that war, the soldiers are going to be the children of the present crop of the youthful generation we have. So we must prepare them, because the schools to learn these skills, the world in the future is going to be on skills. It's not just going to be on something. I heard that Kwara State Government is doing some skills. This is not it. And again, you need knowledge to do certain things. And where you have been led by a less than endowed fellow, in my own Nupe language, they say when a herd of lions is being led by a sheep, just consider all those lions, they are sheep. And where you have, a herd of sheep, being led by one lion, all of them must be lions. So in our own state, I don't know what we have. But the truth is, here in Kwara State, we are going to work assiduously to make Kwara a unique state in the federation, inshallah. Okay. And to do that, we think people should listen to what we have to do, and our advice to Kwarans is they should not pander towards collection of money, because the trajectory we find ourselves in Kwara is, I heard some people say they have reserved 17 billion in one bank, and somebody even told me that they said they will spend 1 billion per local government. Kwarans, collect the money. But remember, don't vote for this guy, because if you do, it's like burying your own children and your grandchildren. There is no future. People that for 3.5 years out of 4 have not been able to provide solution apart from just sinking the state into much debt. You cannot trust them in another 4 years. And don't forget, money that are owed are going to be paid by this generation and their grandchildren. So you vote for them means that you are burying the prospects of your own children and grandchildren. The money, by the way, is yours. Take it. 17 billion borrowed money, they said they have reserved it somewhere. Take the money, but make sure you vote for a party that is going to ensure there's going to be a future for your children and grandchildren.
All right. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Wish you all the very best in the 2023 poll. We've come to the end of the program. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe across all our social media platforms. My name is still Alh Shuaib Abdullahi Yaman. See you next week.